Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Evan.
It's a cold, lovely morning with a bit of snow, and it's good to come your way with another episode of the Evan. So please go ahead and let's share the feed and then let's get going. Okay. Let us know when you join the feed so we can rope you in as usual. So let's keep it going. Okay. Looks like Prissy is done. I'm still okay. Yep, all done. So, as usual, let us know when you join the feed. Say hello, or if hi is your thing, say hi, and then we can get going. Now we've been discussing cheating over the past few
Episode.
episodes. Yeah. And we've had very interesting reactions. We've had very interesting inputs to that. Last week, I think, was very great. We had Joseph joining us and sharing some insights with us. Now, we would do a review of that and then take it from there. Prissy, what are your takeaways so far in all these discussions?
Okay, so last week, Joseph emphasized on the fact that it was mandatory to forgive a cheating spouse.
Yeah,
Yes, and I totally agree with him. Like,
yeah,
forgiveness is a thing we should do as Christians. No matter how hefty or how bad the sin is, we are supposed to forgive as Christ
mm.
forgives us. So that's why he's saying, forgive our sins as
We forgive those who
those who
trespass
trespass against
against
us.
us.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's exactly what we had admonished to. But what I didn't agree with him about is the fact that it's it looks like the one who has been cheated on is supposed to carry the burden of the whole thing. And yeah, we forgive, but then are we supposed to stay in the marriage? As like, you still do you have to mandatory be in the marriage? Um for that, I'll say that it is up to the person, because that's what the Bible said. The Bible did not say that stay. It says that if you want to, if you want to divorce based on that grounds, you are free
Expected
to.
to do
Yes,
so.
so it is up to the person to decide to stay or want to leave. But forgiveness, yes, we admonish to forgive. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Joseph. Thanks for joining us, Rabbi. Now, to add to that, I think that yes, forgiveness is required. But again, so let's think about it this way. It looks like everyone has um, their own. I don't want to use the word capacity, but when it comes to how easily people forgive, right? There are people who who are prone to, I mean, forgive easily, and there are people who also need to take a bit of thinking, a bit of assessment, a bit of deliberation before they finally let go, if they actually let go, right? So sometimes really expecting that someone would just say, okay, it's fine, let's move on, it's also out of place, right? We are different people. And so it's always good to give people room to be them, right? So if it takes someone a lot of analysis to actually say, okay, I let go, I forgive you, then so be it. And don't get into the habit of bashing such an one, right? Say, hey, I mean, this small thing you can't forgive or what? This small, it's it's you trying to force someone into a box, right? It's you trying to mold someone you might not have married, right? So allow people to heal. It's just like wounds, right? It takes people
Time.
different times to heal their wound.
Hmm.
So it just allow people.
Yeah,
Now,
I want
okay,
to
yeah, go
check
ahead.
something.
Yeah.
So, if assuming you were in the act of cheating or something and your spouse came and caught you,
Mm.
and the spouse didn't say anything negative, it was like, I forgave you. Then, next thing you know, this spouse has made you a nice, delicious meal. Come and eat. In your subconscious, you might think that the person has poisoned you.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I come to see you quietly, oh, I forgive you, I've made food like normal. The person is acting normal. You, the one who cheated, will feel bad. So definitely you are expecting that this spouse might get angry or react in a certain way
Yeah.
that would show you that. But if the person doesn't act and acts normal, like
Mhm.
nothing happened, that's even when you even start having
You
headaches.
should
So
be scared,
yeah,
right?
you should be scared. So you
Yeah.
should expect that sort of how do you call it? Um Reaction,
Reaction,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Unless you guys are in a sort of a relationship such that it's no big deal for anyone to go play the
Yeah.
buffoonery.
And
Then
another thing
yeah.
that I heard the our previous guests
Okay.
talking about is the fact that when you have the Holy Spirit,
Hmm.
it's easier to forgive and all that. But I have also looked at this trend that usually people who have in the past had multiple partners and or maybe have probably had that sort of thing. Maybe in my past I dated somebody's husband before
Hmm.
or something. It's rather easier for me to forgive
Yeah.
because I can easily reason with the one who did that. That okay, we are human, we are not perfect. So I believe that sometimes it's not even about somebody having the Holy Spirit, but some people are more prone to forgive because they have been through that and they can put themselves in the other person's shoes. That okay, this is someone who has had multiple partners and has been intimate with a lot of people. Be
Hmm.
like, oh, but this is just sex.
Yeah.
In my past, I've had sex with so many people and I've moved
Exactly.
on. So such people is easier. But then usually people who have had their first love, like this is the only person I have been with.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why you should go and
Exactly.
cheat with someone else. It's very difficult for such a person.
Right.
So sometimes it is about people's experiences and
Their background.
their background. So someone who has been through that will be like, oh, humans are not perfect.
Yeah.
Let's move on. This one is nothing.
Exactly.
But for some people, it's because they are holding this as something they cherish. So
Absolutely. And again, going back to what Prissy said, it ties to our backgrounds, right? So assuming you are from a family where you see your parents cheat on each other, like it's a game between them, you might be, your conscience might be seared, right? So that if you experience such a thing, it's like, okay, no problem. I saw it. I my
It's
previous
normal. This is
moved
normal.
on,
Yeah.
and so let me also move on. And so for such a person, it might be so difficult. But someone who also holds marriage in high esteem and thinks that, oh, you are expected to stay with your spouse, come what may, it might be difficult. And but no matter the situation you find yourself in, allow the person time to heal. Again, like we're saying, it's like wounds. People have, because of their makeup, their body makeup, some people heal more
Faster.
easily,
Yeah.
yeah, than others. Now, I think I saw a comment somewhere. I don't know where I saw it, but someone said it looks like my energy is a bit low today. Yes, that's a very observant person. Prissy actually woke me up from sleep. I was sleeping, and then Prissy just woke me up and I came here. So that's a very observant person. Warren says, "Good day, folks." Hey, Warren, how's it going? Now, so one other thing, okay, when it comes to all these cheating stuff, there are people there are people who can also, so let's say that they've even gone through the process of forgiving, right? Or like laying low, saying, okay, it's fine, let's move on with life. But there are people who cannot see themselves staying in the marriage with such a person. And as we hammered on last week, that might not necessarily mean they've not forgiven the spouse, right? In fact, for some people, being out of sight will be the best thing to help their healing, because as they keep seeing you, I mean, it's triggered all over again, and they go like, oh, so look at your head, or look at your nose, or look at your, they'll be, you were able to go cheat on me, blah blah blah. So there are people who would better heal when they are away, right? And so again, it comes to the time factor. It doesn't, for some of them, it doesn't necessarily mean that they wouldn't want to be married to, even to the same person again. All they might need is just that time to heal, right? So whatever it is, don't go like, oh, but this small thing, again, it comes back to our value system,
Mhm.
right? Someone might see that as, oh, but this small thing, but to another person, this
It's a
is
big
not
deal.
something to joke with. You can't take it so trivially.
Mhm.
In fact, growing up, I think that one thing I've seen is, again, based on the background and everything, there are people who so much trivialize sex, go like, oh, but this one is not a big deal. But I mean, you just, and there are people whose life goals is to sleep with people. Like they see someone and the person looks like, oh, she's carrying herself in a way. Their targets for the month or for the quarter is to sleep with that person. Then they feel, oh yeah, I have achieved my target. So there are people who trivialize sex, right? And so if you end up with such a person, chances are that they wouldn't see the big deal. And I would also have a problem if you are with someone who feels that, oh, but this one, I mean, it's not a big deal. Because what it means is that even in the institution of marriage, there will be nothing that is really stopping them or keeping them sane, right? They just keep
Yeah,
going
like
out.
I'm with you because I love you. I'm not with this other person. So this they see sex as maybe something
Yeah.
for entertainment, just like
Yes.
they go to watch football.
Yeah.
So with such people, I don't know how you're going to manage.
Mm-hmm. And again, back to the foundations. These are real discussions you should have before deciding to say yes. And I am always happy for people who are young, have not yet engaged in relationships and stuff, because you see, all the wisdom that comes from such discussions are for you, right? So before you go get into a relationship with someone, these are the things that we expect that you speak about. These are the discussions we expect that you actually bring across, I mean, to your partner, and then figure out, hey, is this something we're ready to do, or is this something we want to go ahead with, right? Because it's all about the value systems of the different parties, right? There is something someone would say, oh, it's not a big deal. But if it's a big deal to your partner, then it's not something you can keep going on with, because
So in that case,
Mhm.
you are probably unequally yoked. You may both be believers, but or
Absolutely.
Christians, but
Yeah.
because of I also believe that Christianity is not just about like a religious whatever. It's just our way of life. You remember that anything Christ talks about is
Mhm.
about the mind,
Mhm.
your mindset, the
Mhm.
renewal of your mind. So
Right.
if you can both be Christians but still not be equally yoked
Yeah.
because you think differently.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's easier for you to flow with somebody that you think the same way, or your thinking aligns.
Yeah.
But then if there's any misalignment, you see that this person, yes, is a Bible believing person, reads the Bible and whatever. But even there are some Christians who believe in a man not being monogamous, the old script,
Yeah.
Old Testament.
Yeah.
Men of God will
Yeah.
tell you men are structured that way.
Mm.
But so if such a Christian is telling you that, it means that you are probably stuck with a man or a woman who would want to go out
Yeah.
with other people.
Yeah.
And so it's more about the mindset. So
Yeah.
that's why you have to try and see what is in the mind of someone. Like you have to talk and discuss. It's not just about intimacy.
Correct. Correct. So Akimbola says deal breaker for some. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if and don't get into the position of assuming what should be a deal breaker for someone, right? So you go like, oh, but this one, how is this the reason why you want to leave a marriage? And unfortunately, we've had a lot of people who have been coerced into staying in some relationships or in some marriages because it goes like, oh, but this one is nothing. Oh, but this one, it's what all men do. Now, hey, thanks for joining us, Senor. Now, I have recently someone was speaking to Prissy, and I happened to pass by. Or no, after Prissy was telling me something, right, about someone saying, "Oh, but this is how all men are," right? And then I go like, "Okay, yeah." So when people have a skewed mindset of what men should be and what women should be, it has a telling in the relationship, right? So there are people who would say that I'm fine with my husband going out. So far as you come back home, I'm fine, right? So you see such a person and you wonder what might be going through the person's mind. Like, how does this person process things? How is this person? And someone also said that, oh, but for men, you just leave them, they would go do whatever they want to do, but the one they are staying with is the one they love.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go, okay, how does that work? Right? So it's because again, people have so much trivialized intimacy that, oh, that person could actually go outside, do whatever he wants, but would come back to you because you are the one he loves. What is the love there then, right?
Love without loyalty.
Yeah, exactly, without commitment, without, like, you can easily go out. And again, when we come to the West, then the issue gets worse, right? People are married, but they are into all sorts of relationships called swinging. So people are able to go be intimate with someone else's spouse, and then they
I think
swing, and
at
yeah,
some point maybe
yeah,
the foundation is wrong. At some
Right.
point, they have checked out of their marriage, but they don't want to leave their marriage. So they tag along with whatever ideas.
Right.
It's they are probably obsessed
Yeah.
with being married to
Yeah.
that person. So
Right.
usually one of the partners is the one who brings up that idea. "Oh, let's all go and explore." And yeah,
And they say they are in an
they are obsessed. Yeah,
open marriage or
and
something
yeah,
that they
and
can.
I always say that sometimes your spouse too can change the way you think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you see somebody who is like the perfect person you would have thought that
Mm-hmm.
could be in a marriage, but
Mm-hmm.
would get married to somebody he or she is unequally yoked with in terms
Mm-hmm.
of mindset,
Yeah.
and then the person changes the way the person thinks.
Yeah.
So initially, this person was probably going the right way,
Yeah.
but because the spouse, you become one, so
Yeah.
you start agreeing and doing things like. So, oh, let's go and explore
Yeah.
other whatever. And before you know it, you are tagging along.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you have to make sure that um even the Christianity we have levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so even for me, if even my child comes and says that I've met a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
I want to marry a pastor, I would tell you to put the pastor aside, try and
Know the
look
person for
for
who he is,
how the person
not
thinks,
because the
not
person is
because
called
the
a
person is
pastor
a
or
pastor,
something.
because people have,
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, because of some exposure and experiences, I don't really
Yeah.
see pastors or whatever as um like doing the exact. You might be the most ordinary person in church might even be the one who is spiritually matured
Oh,
or
of
closer to
course.
God.
Yeah. Of course.
So um
Yeah.
when you are dating, irrespective of who the person is, if the person is the one closest to the maybe head pastor or whatever, you still have to make sure you know the person in terms of how the person thinks and all that, because you might be in for a surprise.
Yeah, it's just because people see different things or people see the wrong things, right? I mean, if you need to get married to someone and you are only seeing the title the person has, then you might be misled. Senor says that pastors, and the funny part of it is that Senor is a reverend minister, right? So yeah, so
No,
it,
it's
it
it's
it's it,
maybe
yeah,
because I've been close to experience most pastors, so
yeah.
I know that some of them are shady. Yes, yes.
It's
So
generally
usually,
humans actually, right? It's generally humans.
yes,
So don't so the person could be having a
yeah,
title of a pastor, a reverend, um, a mayor, an MP, president, or it doesn't matter.
yeah.
All those things don't
Don't
matter,
matter.
right? It- None of those titles means that the person is conferred with some superiority when it comes to marriage. It doesn't work that way, right? There are people who are naturally um, caring, they are naturally um, um, romantic. People are so people have qualities that might better place them or better position them as people who will do well in marriage, and some don't have it naturally, so you will need to learn, right? And so titles, no, they don't mean anything. So so you see someone and you're attracted to the person because of a certain title, I mean, yeah, you'd be in for trouble. Senor is saying that I agree with you, Prissy. So ladies and gentlemen, this whole cheating thing, it's I my someone said I always live in an ideal world. I always live in a perfect world. This is why, because sometimes the kind of trouble you bring on yourself going out of that ideal route is not worth carrying, right? So you think that, oh, it's fine. Let me try once. Let me see how it looks like, and that might just be the end of a beautiful thing that existed, right? So I one day, please, if you are listening to us and you've experienced this and you are willing to talk about it, yeah, just hit us up and we'll bring you on to speak about it. Because sometimes someone might look back and look at someone and say, "Ooh, this person might be enjoying, or like maybe going out sleeping with women and blah blah blah." But deep within, the person wish he had not gotten or she had not gotten into this mess, right? But you will never know till the person tells you. But humans are also such that we all want to experience for ourselves, right? You say, "Oh, well, you don't know what you are talking about," because you want to experience it for yourself. So now, before we wrap up, I want to bring up this topic about emotional cheating. You hear a lot of people talking about, "Oh, but emotionally, you can also cheat on your partner," or like you don't need to go be intimate with someone before you would say that you are cheating on your partner. I'll let Prissy come in, but let me share this. I think there are two facets to that. The first one is that people use that as an excuse for whatever they are doing. So, for example, someone is involved with sleeping with multiple people or cheating on the partner, and then when that issue is raised, they go like, "Oh, by you two emotionally, you can get, I mean, tied with someone, or emotionally you can cheat on your partner. That you don't need to be intimate before it's considered cheating." That is true, but that doesn't also mean that person going to be intimate with someone is doing any better. I don't know if you get me. So that is the first prong. The second prong is that people will say, "Oh, instead of going to cheat physically with someone, then they resort to that emotional cheating." So they go in, have certain discussions with people they shouldn't have. I mean, people share videos, share pictures, share nudes of themselves, and all that, just as the first person will say, all that is also very inappropriate, right? And so it's not a case of you having to go get involved with someone physically before you say that you're cheating. And so I'll let Prissy come in on that.
Emotional. I have very little information on that, but
Yeah,
can we say that being even into pornography is emotional cheating?
absolutely.
I don't know how maybe it does affect your intimacy, the
Absolutely.
physical intimacy, because
Absolutely.
you are getting your satisfaction in another form.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I feel that can also affect,
Mm.
but because you might see
Yeah.
things that you want your spouse to do, and
Mm-hmm.
your spouse doesn't have that capability
Yeah.
of doing that,
Yeah.
and so well, I think it has its downsides too.
Yeah, it does. It does. So if you involved in pornography, right, and that means that you get your satisfaction elsewhere, you are actually drifting away from your partner, right?
The normal use of
Yes. Yes, correct. So it is also another category of cheating. Now, think about it. When people are intimate, the whatever end game is to satisfy themselves, reach orgasm, and then they'll be okay. And so if something else takes that place and something else can give you that, then obviously you are having something else take your partner's place, right? And then happens with people who use sexual toys and so on and so forth. Now, um, if you are brave enough, please also send a message to us. We'll let you come on board and come and talk to us about
we may
the
be wrong
impact.
about we
Yes,
may be wrong about what we are saying,
because the reality is that
but maybe
it
the people I know, I think there are Christians who use them, and maybe the they have the pros, like they feel like there are advantages to it. So maybe we can invite someone who uses it, and so the person will let
honestly,
us know what the pros are like, the advantages are.
Unless you are using that to, maybe your husband has a problem sexually, right? And you are using that to satisfy yourself, right? And your husband agrees. I don't know how that works or how that agreement will
Or
go
maybe
in,
people
but
have spouses that have traveled. Maybe that's what they do. You may never know.
yes, but if you have a spouse that has traveled, then it also means that something else is taking the place of your spouse. So, I mean, how do
Yeah,
you
so
explain that?
we need someone,
So,
people
yeah,
with
if you have,
experience to come in, tell us
come share that with
how,
us.
what's
Yeah,
the advantages are.
right.
We may be wrong anyway.
I
Yeah.
spoke to someone. I had, and this is not supposed to be out anyway. So I had a discussion with someone, and the spouse was not potent, zero. But the spouse did not inform her about that before they got married. So apparently, I mean, when it comes to intimacy, there was nothing like penetration or anything. They still play with each other and so on and so forth. And that is it. So for someone in such a situation, then they would say they have a reason for using all the sexual toys, blah blah blah. But again, if you think you have the all the insight into it, just shoot us a message and then we'll get you on. Ladies and gentlemen, all too soon, we already gone past time. Thank you so much for joining today's episode of Dear Man. And as Joseph asked, I've gone to see the message. It was Joseph that sent the message, right? Saying that it looks like my energy is low, and the reason is because Prissy woke me up from sleep. So on that dreamy note,
Grumpy.
grumpy, grumpy as well. We draw down the curtains on today's episode of Dear Man. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thanks, cheers, and bye for now.